I just want to make sure that we don't have any further feedback. I think we're good. Okay. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We've just completed our in-camera session, so there is a motion coming out of that, moved by Councillor Antoine Hartley, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody, that council rise and report from committee of the whole session, and that the mayor report the following outcomes from the closed session. Closed minutes of February 2nd, 2026 were adopted as circulated, and direction was provided to staff. And we came out of the in-camera meeting and there's nothing further to report. And we came out at 6:16 p.m. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Moving along in our agenda is the public meeting. So the motion comes forward from Councillor Maybe, seconded by Councillor Antoine Hartley, that the public meeting be called to order at 6:17 p.m. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. And I will have to step away as chair, ask the deputy mayor to step in as I have a conflict of interest in regards to tower application T00-2026-002.
Thank you. Through you, Deputy Mayor Fody, I'll go ahead and read the public meeting introduction, if that's okay with you.
Okay, sure.
For the communication towers application, this public meeting is being held in accordance with the township's telecommunication tower protocol. Personal information collected at this public meeting is collected under the authority of the Municipal Act. All names, addresses, opinions, and comments are collected and form part of this minutes, which are available to the public. The recording of the meeting will be posted on YouTube and will also be available to the public. Following a presentation by staff, the meeting will be open to the public for comments and questions. When you speak, please provide your name and address for recording in the minutes. All comments should be directed to the Deputy Mayor. Everyone will have 5 minutes to provide their comments. This report is being presented to Council. It's being brought forward to allow for public input. A resolution will come forward for each application later in the meeting.
Thank you.
We don't have a resolution until later in the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this application from council? Do we have the applicant here for any representation? Okay, if you want to come forward, sir, to the podium over here, just make sure that mic is on, the green light is lit. I think the chief already set it up for you. Just give us your name for the record, please.
Sure, it's Rob Pritchard.
You can go ahead.
I do have a presentation here I was asked to bring. Can I just put that in here, USB stick? Perfect, okay. Yeah. Make sure the camera is on. You will be on camera, okay?
Yep.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Let's bear with me for one moment here. Okay. Well, thank you very, very much, everyone, for your time this evening. We really do appreciate it. So what I'm going to speak to is these tower applications that we have in with the township. I'll try to walk through the presentation fairly quickly to not take up too much extra time, but there is important information, and I do want to make sure it's all shared. Just very quickly, I know a number of you are familiar with KOS already, but for those of you who aren't, we're just to the west of you. We operate a network between Gananoque and Trenton and down through the islands and up north of the 401 corridor. Sorry. Oh, was it not being shared? Sorry. Oh, perfect.
Was it 3? We need to do 3. Oh, wait, found it. Here we go. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so KWest has been in operation for 30 years. As I said, we're just west of here, from Gananoque to Trenton, down through Prince Edward County, through the islands and up north of the 401 corridor. We bring high-speed wired and wireless internet to businesses and residents. We'll be partnering with different municipalities and others to bring custom solutions. And what we're looking at now is 2 towers as part of a project we've spoken to before here, but 2 more towers to complete that project here in Leeds and the Thousand Islands. So what we are proposing is to bring, I'm just going to move this a little bit here, to bring high-speed internet, 250 meg download capable internet services using next generation fixed wireless access, so NG-FWA, you will hear me say that from time to time, to provide fast, dependable service to underserved homes in the region. It's part of a project that will be able to provide high-speed connectivity to more than 3,000 homes and businesses throughout the township. Proposed sites are targeted areas with known service gaps where residents today have limited options. By filling these gaps, we're looking to bring consistent modern internet to underserved households that existing networks have missed. So what we would need to do is build a small number of low-impact, self-supporting towers in the township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands. I'll move through this very quickly. I touched on the next generation fixed wireless connectivity, but basically this is a wireless service that we'd be bringing in that is just, it's fantastic in terms of its speed, its reliability, its low latency. We're using this in other parts of our network. We have been using it for years in other areas. We use it in areas where we actually have, we're contested by wired services, and we have customers who stay with us and customers who will come to us. It's not a second-rate service. It's an excellent service. We've had a lot of people come to Kingston over the last couple of years, 20 some odd companies to come and see what we're doing to look at this and to adopt it and deploy it on their own. So for reaching the last mile, this technology allows us to reach places traditional wireline services often can't reach: rural roads, challenging terrain, and islands. This allows more homes and businesses to have access to modern broadband. Our service meets and exceeds the CRTC's 5010 objective today, and we're going to be offering up to 250 megabit per second download speed. So it really is a future-ready platform right now. It's environmentally responsible deployment. The proposed tower locations have been chosen by identifying locations that have existing clearings and site access to minimize vegetation clearing. We propose self-supporting towers, no guy wires, to reduce the overall footprint. We've consulted with the CRCA, and they have confirmed that the proposed sites are outside provincially significantly wetlands, woodlands, and areas of national and scientific interest lands. The last point here is just a high-speed service with fair pricing. A question was asked before, you know, if we come in here and we're going to an area where there's a real need for this, are we going to come in and raise our prices and do things? No, we're very transparent on this. We don't have hidden fees. We're going to be offering the same offerings we offer in other parts of our network when we come here. But again, we'll be bringing that fast access here. We're looking to have this completed, if all goes forward, in the summer. It's very quick for us to deploy once we've gone through municipality, once we've gone through everything. Very quick for us to deploy, so we could be bringing these high speeds into the local township very soon. So the service gap identification, this is a question we are asked too from time to time. So this project's actually part of a broadband expansion project that the Ontario government is investing in to bring reliable high-speed internet to underserved areas. So this is brought to us with, here's the data set we have, here are the underserved homes, can you bring a solution for this? And that's what we proposed, and that's what we did. In doing that also, KWest, we did our diligence as well. We reviewed the areas we were looking at. We consulted with the ISED National Broadband Map to identify the service gaps. We evaluated the existing services in the area and the offerings in the area. We completed a lot of research just on the market and the underserved homes in Leeds and the Thousand Islands. And we also engage with residents about their high-speed internet needs. When we were planning this out, tower locations, what we were going to do, we were very specific with this. And it's something where we're not just sort of saying, hey, I think a tower would go really well here. We use LiDAR data. We use very specific data that allows us to model where a tower could go that's going to maximize that service area that we can get to those underserved homes. So for every tower we've suggested or brought forward, we're using that extensively. Again, like I said, it allows us to select tower sites that maximize coverage, reduce service gaps, avoid unnecessary structures, and ensure reliable connectivity to more homes and businesses. And finally, we really are bringing the speed and reliability of urban networks to rural communities, closing that gap with innovative wireless infrastructure. From a structural safety standpoint, all the towers are designed and reviewed by licensed professional engineers. Design account for site-specific wind, ice, load conditions to ensure structural integrity and safety over the life of the installation. Construction is carried out by a qualified team, following the stamped engineering drawings with inspection and maintenance to confirm ongoing compliance. If we were to decommission a tower, we would remove that tower. That tower would not be left standing. So throughout the life and when that tower is being used, it's subject to very specific maintenance to make sure it's still sound. But like I said, if it were decommissioned, KOS would be responsible for removing that tower. Climb prevention, just an important safety comment here. All the towers are equipped with fixed anti-climb panels to prevent unauthorized access. So that makes sure that people just can't go and climb the tower. No one can access that. Only our technicians are able to have access to that tower. I'm just going to touch on this very briefly. Health Canada Safety Code 6. So it's something we need to attest to. So we attest that the antenna systems to be installed will comply at all times with Health Canada's Safety Code 6. RF exposure in all publicly accessible areas, considering the combined emissions of all equipment, will remain vastly below the general public limits. We just got a little graph here that shows you, where that 100% is and where actually KOS would fall with the emissions from these towers here. And if you look along the bottom axis here, you'll see, as you move further away from the tower, that's 100 meters, 120 meters, that just continues to drop. It's very, very low emissions from these towers that we're proposing. So the first specific tower we're looking at would be located at 1802 Outlet Road. It would be a 46-meter tower. It's an all-weld self-support tower, no guy wires like I mentioned. NAV Canada has already confirmed that no lighting would be required at the site. NAV Canada can change their minds down the road if there is something else that would factor into it, but as of right now, there is no lighting is required on this tower. So the location rationale, it's an existing unused portion of a farm lot. It services the Union, Tilley, and Rapid Valley areas, while providing crucial backhaul connectivity to downstream towers, and no other nearby viable co-location option was available to us. And I'll just comment quickly on the backhaul connectivity. It's really, really important. It's not just about, we have to hit those underserved homes, those targets that we've been given, those areas that do need this high-speed internet, but the towers are also very carefully where we're suggesting that we're asking them to be built, so we can get that backhaul connectivity between them, so we can have internet in all of these areas. We've also created redundancy, because one big thing nowadays is internet's very important. If you're working from home, if you're at home, if you're evening and the kids are doing homework, whatever the reasons are, it's very, very important that it's up and it's consistent. So what we've built is redundancy on these towers as well. We have different things like battery backups on the towers. So if the power goes out just locally, that tower's still going to be broadcasting. You can still access the internet. If we had something happen on this end of the network here, well, we have a redundant link that's backhauling in from the other side. So what we're really looking for is just maximizing uptime. We don't want to have people sitting around saying, hey, what's going on with KOS? So it's a very carefully structured network that we've put together. That's, again, important for getting those underserved homes, but also very, very important for interacting with the other towers, so we can have those redundancies throughout the network. The environmental impact, existing open land with access minimizes construction. It avoids provincially significant wetlands, woodlands, and ANSI lands, as I mentioned. CRCA has confirmed that no permit is required, and the tower type is chosen for its small footprint. From a public input, every time there's a process we go through with the township, and we've followed that, and we've received no formal feedback during the public consultation period. So signs were posted on the properties for 30 days, explaining the project with contact information included. Those are signs that we get from the township offices here. We provided public notice in the newspaper, so that was actually put out and made public. And then we also send letters to the required nearby property owners per the township policy. So it's sort of a triple prong approach here to make sure that the word is getting out, so that if someone does have any feedback or anything, that's coming to us, and we haven't received anything for this location. If you look at it here, just on the left-hand side, the diagram, you can see where we're proposing the location of this tower. And then from the right, you can just see a rendered drawing of what that tower would look like. Again, just another render drawing here on the left. You can see from a distance what the tower would look like at the farm at this particular property. And on the right-hand side, you can see the viewpoint where we generated this from. So that's what it would look like from that viewpoint. The second tower that we're proposing is 469 Lower Oakleaf Road. It's again a 46-meter all-weld self-support tower with no guy wires, and NAV Canada has also confirmed that no lighting is required at this location. It's an existing unused field location. It services the Charleston Lake area. We're providing crucial backhaul connectivity to downstream towers, and we weren't able to find any other viable co-location options. Environmental impact is very similar to what I said before. It's existing open land that minimizes construction, avoids the ANSI lands. CRCA has said that no permits required, and the tower type, it really is chosen for that small footprint. Public input, exactly as before. We didn't receive any formal feedback during the public consultation period, and we followed all those steps as well with the newspaper, with the signs on the property, and notifying the neighbors that we were required to notify. Here it's the same idea. You can see where we're proposing to build the tower. On the right, you can see just a render diagram of what that would look like. And again, just another render drawing here. On the right-hand side, you see the viewpoint we used. And then on the left-hand side, you can see what the tower would look like down the road. So just a couple of things I do just want to end with here prior to any questions. So during this consultation, some questions are directly within the scope of public process defined by ISED, while others are under federal jurisdiction or outside of what can be decided locally or what we can speak to. So here are just a couple of examples of what we can respond to and what we're not able to respond to. If someone wants to know how are we making sure that the tower is not accessible to the general public? Yes, we can answer that for sure. We're not able to select something else, or why was this a good location? I've tried to touch on that. Why is an alternate site not possible? So questions like that we can definitely speak to. Questions that we can't answer or we can't speak to are disputes with members of the public relating to proponent services unrelated to antenna installations, potential effects that a proposed antenna system will have on property values or municipal taxes, and questions on whether the Radio Communication Act, Safety Code 6, or locally established bylaws or other legislation, procedures or processes are valid or should be performed in some manner. That's not anything we can speak to. And that's the overview on what we're proposing here and what we're asking for here.
Thank you. Any members of council have questions to the applicant? Councillor Maybe, go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have a few questions. You talked about the power for a particular tower, and if it's down, you're on battery backup or a generator. What does a tower actually require in power?
How much power does it draw? Do you mind if I refer to, I have two gentlemen with me here who can speak to that a little bit better.
Okay. Mainly because of the battery backup, and you're talking about how long will the batteries last and that type of thing.
The battery will last. Here, Don, why don't you come on up and...
Yeah. It was a 110, 220,
It's all 110. It's our equipment is very low power compared to larger cell sites. So, small lithium ion batteries give us about 8 hours of runtime.
Yeah. And then would you have a generator on site in some cases or not?
We don't have them on site. What we generally do would be we do get alarms. So once we hit 50% battery, we deploy a technician with a small generator. But because everything works on one or maybe two 15-amp circuits,
right? It's
just a small inverter generator that you can use. So,
oh, that's good.
Excuse me, can we have your name for the record, please?
Sure, Dominic Fanato.
Thank you.
Okay. The other thing is when KOS started in the area, it was all sightline. You had to have direct site to get connectability. So has that changed in this system?
Yes, it doesn't have to be a clear line of sight for this technology. And that's, so when we're doing our modeling and mapping on this, that's a large consideration. As you know very well, it's a beautiful, beautiful area here. But there are a lot of trees. There are a lot of different things that we're dealing with here. So this technology very specifically allows us to provide the services and the speeds that I'm talking about, but still function in an environment like this. And that a lot of the time when our modeling was spent doing this very specifically. Now, there will be places if something is down 100 feet and there's a cliff right there, it's not possible. But what we've done is position these towers to maximize that. But you don't need a clear line of sight. When we've done extensive testing on our network with this, we actually did all kinds of different testing where we use different gear. We put them side by side. We tried everything. And we tried a variety of environments. Where we already exist right now, we have areas that aren't exactly the same as, but very similar in terms of the foliage, in terms of some of the topography and everything else. And we've been deploying this for the better part of 3 years, specific technology.
Okay.
And it works fantastic. And so
That's
when we
good to
did
hear. I'm glad to hear that.
when we did it was a tour where we had those companies come that I mentioned before. We actually took them to an area in Prince Edward County where we were basically taking these radios, and it was called the Seeing is Believing tour, because it is one of these things where there are older technologies or other technologies that need that clear line of sight.
Yeah.
But we actually took these different companies and everyone to these places, including some officials from government and other areas, and we showed them, just so they could see with their own eyes what they were looking at. We showed them, what bigger picture, what they were seeing, but we let them come and see, hey, we're going to be blasting through this wall of trees and this, and you can see what's happening on the other end. So it's something that we've got a lot of experience with. We're very confident in, and we're very confident in the area of how it can be used here.
Excellent. That's good. And there's also a secondary question there. You mentioned about some wired. So what did you mean by that, wired connections?
So we've got cable services that we provide as well, that we do in parts of the network. That's not a viable option here for what we're looking for. And the service that we're bringing here right now is the best option that is available for a lot of these places that we're looking to get to.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. And I did write down when, but you're saying in the summertime, you're hoping to have this all in place and active.
Absolutely. The idea is that this is all deployed and broadcasting by end of summer. And it's not just the idea. We're actually working on some very strict timelines for this. So we've actually done a lot of work already with, as you know, with NAV Canada, with CRCA, everyone else, hydro contracts in place. Different things are already set up and ready to go. We've already been doing on the towers that have been approved, the geotech analysis. Towers are already fabricated for where we have approvals for it. So when I said, it's the easier part once we get to deployment, it's not an easy process, but once it's within our control, we've kind of got everything set up and ready to go. We've got gear already in our office that can be deployed as soon as those towers are up and broadcasting.
Right. And then my last question is, KOS supplies what type of service specifically? Is it just internet? Is there phone? Is there TV? Anything like that?
So we provide internet. We do provide voice over IP. So we do provide phone that works really well on these systems here. I know that a few people have talked to us about that, and we do deploy that. And then we have requirements for E911 services where we have reporting and whatnot. So we have to make sure that's a very strong and viable service if we're providing that in a home, so that 911 service is available. We've looked at TV. We've decided we decided a while ago it wasn't something we were going to do with kind of the advent of Netflix and Crave and everything else that's on demand.
Yes.
Because that's how a lot of folks are watching TV right now. And it just wasn't a direction that we wanted to go. So we do a lot of, like I said, these internet services. We do a lot of custom work. We work with a number of, like I said, municipalities and others to provide work there. But really looking at internet, and you're looking at the phone services. We do web hosting and some other things as well. But that's the main thrust would really be on the internet.
Thank you very much.
Questions from the other members of council? Councillor Kelman?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and through you. Just for members of the public that might be watching or in the future, could you just give us an idea of what your planned costs are for the customers? If there's a range or for internet service? Yeah, absolutely. And we actually publish it on our website, kos.net. So you can have a look. We have the plans that go right up to the 250 meg plans. And there's no, if we were going to make changes to those, I wouldn't have them up there. So when we're pricing these, obviously there are a lot of costs on our end we do have to consider, but we don't price ourselves out of the market. So we're typically on par with what else is out there, sometimes a little better priced than that. We may be looking at some, to have people come over to KOS, we may be looking at some promotional pricing, but we're not going to be putting the pricing up. So for a 250 meg plan, you could be spending, off the top of my head, $129 to $149 for a 250 meg plan at full price. But we have plans that come down to the $60 mark. Like it's exactly what we offer on our network right now. We have not, an interesting part in this too, is we have not actually raised our prices other than introducing new plans and packages that have come in. We haven't raised our prices. There are no hidden fees. There's nothing where we haven't done it in 5-10 years, if ever, where we've said now, we're up another $2, we're up another $5. So we're very, very transparent on our pricing. But at kos.net, all the pricing under the wireless service is available right there.
Any other questions from council? Any other questions? Anybody in the gallery, the public? You got any questions? If not, I thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Well, if I can get Mayor, I'm going by the door anyway.
Oh, the resolutions. Okay. Got it. Okay, next item on the agenda is 13.2 comprehensive report applications. Oh, sorry. Public meeting. My apologies. I got ahead of myself. Zoning bylaw amendment D14 2025-012 and official plan amendment D09 2025-003.
Yes, please.
No problem. This one is the PDF.
yeah. Get rid of that. Just bear with me a moment if I can go into
Good.
full screen. Yes. Just bear with me a moment as I try to get this into full screen. What's going on here? Just trying to put this into full screen. A little bit bigger there. I think I can put this into a full screen mode. Typically I'll just slide this down. I can see it without looking with this way.
Right click down here. Is this the green subdivision?
Yes.
Okay, right click down here. Yeah. And then there should be a maximize. I don't see a maximize on
Okay.
the liar.
That's fine. I think if I just get rid of this and I'll present like this, and then if I need to,
Okay.
excuse me, is everyone able to see this well enough on the screen? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler Hamilton. I'm a planner with Photon Planning and Design. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the applicant Greens Electric with regards to the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments associated with the lands legally described as part of Lot 19 and 20, Concession 1. The site consists of an irregular shaped lot located to the north of the Thousand Islands Parkway. The site has an area of approximately 28.1 hectares and approximately 197 meters of frontage along the north side of the Thousand Islands Parkway. There is a centrally located watercourse which flows into the creek and provincially significant wetland to the east, which bisects the site. The watercourse is crossed by an existing causeway in the eastern portion of the site, just kind of above the more developed, not developed, but forested area in the east. And the site is currently vacant, but has historically been used for cash crop production. The surrounding area consists of a mix of uses, although it's primarily residential in nature, as the lands to the west, south, and east of the subject lands consist primarily of rural and waterfront residential uses. To the immediate east of the site is the Fox run by the River Retirement Residence, and further to the east is the provincially significant wetland. The site is approximately 1 kilometer east of the town of Gananoque and is bound by Highway 401 to the north. So the site is designated rural and special policy area Thousand Islands, which is the area south of the 401. In addition to that, it's also designated environmental protection on Schedule A1 of the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands official plan. When looking at the special policy area, which is the land south of the 401, residential uses in this area are permitted to a maximum of 1 unit per hectare on these lands. And when looking at the zoning bylaw, the site is split zone rural, floodplain, and locally significant wetland. The rural zone permits a variety of rural and residential oriented uses, whereas the floodplain zone and the locally significant wetland zone do not permit any development. So just in looking at the background associated with this site, so the site was draft approved for a 25 lot residential subdivision in 1994, and it did not have a lapsing date when it was first draft approved. I can recognize that this image that I provided is a little bit faded. It is an actual picture of a hard copy plan, which I'll be honest, I don't see very often anymore. So if you kind of look at it, which is kind of hard to see, you'll see that the road is located in the eastern portion of the site. And that's something that I'm going to be kind of tying in when looking at the updated plan. So from 1994 to 2019, the draft approved subdivision didn't receive final approval. So in 2019, the United County of Leeds and Grenville, they recommended adding a lapsing period to this subdivision, mostly because of the inactivity associated with it. And this resulted with a lapsing date of September 30th, 2022. When the United Counties was going through establishing their lapsing date and providing their staff report, there was a recognition that the proposal or the development would need to be redesigned and updated studies would need to be prepared in order to ensure that the development would reflect the changes in legislation, development standards, and regulations since its original draft approval. So since then, myself and some of my colleagues have been going through subsequent one-year extensions on the lapsing date. So we are now currently, I believe, the set lapsing date is for October 2026. So as of this point, we've been doing work in the background, trying to do the updated studies and plans to update this plan to reflect the current legislative framework. So in looking at the new proposed plan, so the proposed plan is going to consist of 25 residential lots, 2 wetland blocks, and one floodplain compensation block. And it's going to result in a net density of 1.16 unit per hectare. The lots will be accessed by a cul-de-sac from the Thousand Islands Parkway, and the proposed dwellings are intended to be serviced by private water and septic. To address potential noise impacts associated with Highway 401 to the north, a berm and fence will be implemented in the northern portion of the site. The resulting built form is going to be generally consistent with the existing low-density residential developments that are in the area. When looking at the supporting materials that have been prepared in support of this plan, we've had a noise impact study, hydrogeological evaluation, stormwater management report, environmental impact study, traffic impact study, and the planning demonstration report prepared by FOTEN. So the purpose of the official plan amendment is to permit a maximum density of 1.16 units per hectare from the permitted 1 unit per hectare. The overall site itself is 28 hectares. However, when contemplating and considering the locally significant wetland and floodplain areas, we have to subtract that from the overall residential area, and that's how we've resulted with the 1.16. However, if you were to look at the entire area as a whole, it would be under, but recognizing that we also need to consider the natural features on the site, it results in a density of 1.16 unit per hectare. And then when looking at the zoning bylaw amendment, the intent is to rezone a majority of the site from rural to rural residential. You'll notice that there's a green portion in the top right. That is we were looking to do a site-specific rural residential to permit a reduced lot frontage from 46 meters to 27 meters. That's mostly a function of how the cul-de-sac bulb is working. However, when looking at the overall reduction, the area is going to be met. So it's just going to be a reduced frontage. However, the area and overall width of the site would be reflective of what would be characteristic with the rural residential zone. In addition to that, we're also looking to just amend the boundaries associated with the locally significant wetland zone and the floodplain zone, which are reflective of the findings of the EIS and subsequent studies that have been provided. So, in my opinion, this represents good land use planning as it facilitates the development of an existing draft plan of subdivision that was approved in 1994, but now reflects the current policy and regulatory framework. As regards for matters of provincial interest, it's consistent with the provincial planning statement and conforms to the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville and Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands official plans. It is not anticipated to have negative impacts on the provincially significant wetland or natural features, and provides housing options in a manner that is generally compatible and maintains the character with the surrounding area. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So I'm going to look to our planner first, and then we'll take questions from council. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you, just to confirm that notice for this public meeting for these applications was provided in accordance with the Planning Act. This included notice being mailed to all owners of property located within 120 meters of the subject lands, and also signage being posted at the subject property at least 20 days prior to this evening's meeting. And in terms of correspondence, staff confirm that we have not received any written correspondence to date with respect to the applications.
Thank you very much. So I will turn to council with any questions. Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. So have a couple questions. And significant work has happened over the last year. Recognize that right up because it's good to see it's at this state now. So the road will be assumed by the township after completion of the construction and all sites are sold, I take it? Yes.
Yes.
There is no second egress in this, and that's always one of my big things about if there's an accident at the intersection or at that little bridge there or culvert, people can't get in and out. But with this particular section being 25 lots, there might be some sort of way of getting around them. If it was to last any length of time, I would take it. It's just one of those unfortunate things with the lay of this particular land and the water course that's there.
Well, are you speaking to the access that would be over the water course that's central to the site?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Part of it is that, but it's also in a case of an emergency, getting out another way. That's where that falls more often than not in my mind. So
definitely.
Anyways, and it is only single family homes for the most part in this. And let's see here. And it's good to see this plan because it has changed, quite a bit from the initial one when we first seen this. And is there any contemplation of when construction will start on this?
Well, we're very early in the process, so I can't give a definitive answer on that because since there's an existing draft plan of subdivision, the process that's going to be required at this point is for us to get the approvals for the official plan amendment and the zoning bylaw amendment. We need those first in order to amend the existing draft plan of subdivision with the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville. So I can't speak to a hypothetical timeline there because then we're going to have to update the draft plans of condition, the draft conditions associated with the draft plan approval. Then we'll have to clear those in order to start developing.
Any estimate of how long that might take in your previous endeavors in this case?
I think between 2 and 3 years could be a reasonable timeline. It also depends on so we submitted in, I believe, mid-November of last year, sorry. And now we're still waiting on technical comments associated with all the supporting studies. So it's all kind of dependent on what kind of comments we're going to get, what needs to be addressed. Also recognizing that when we're crossing a water course, like DFO is going to be involved. So there's a lot of moving parts that are associated with it. So I'll give a 2 to 3 year timeline. It also is relative to the amount of comments that we get. It could potentially be longer. I think 2 to 3 is a very reasonable timeline.
Yes. So we will have to extend this one again in the fall, most likely.
As long as there's meaningful work being done, I don't think we have to.
Which I think it definitely shows that.
So we still have to go. Okay. So we will have that coming forward, but to your point, meaningful work has been done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much. And congratulations on that. It's good to see it this far. So thank you.
Further comments or questions from council members? I have no other hands up, so thank you very much for your presentation. Sorry. I keep forgetting we're in a public meeting. My apologies. Anybody from the public who'd like to make any comments or ask any questions? Is there anyone online that? No? Okay. Seeing no comments or questions, I thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll go on to number 9, which is briefings. So I'm gonna ask.
After, sorry, I think it's.
Okay. So we'll have a motion to close the public meeting, and it's moved by Councillor Maybe and seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody that the public meeting be closed at 6:56 p.m. Any discussion on it? I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. So the public meeting is now closed. Now I can go on to number 9. Which is, we don't have any briefings this evening. We're moving on to the consent agenda, adoption and receipt of minutes. So motion comes forward from Councillor Antoine Hartley, seconded by Councillor Maybe, that the January 6, 2026 council meeting minutes and the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes be adopted as circulated, and that the December 16th, 2025 Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes be received and filed. Discussion on these minutes. Go ahead, please, Councillor Maybe.
Yes, and through you, Madam Mayor, when I opened up the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole, the minutes that were attached were actually the council meeting minutes of January 6th, because I didn't see the February 2nd one, so I couldn't actually verify what was there. But the only thing I wanted to say about the January one is that we should have had there that we actually sang the anthem. Anyways,
Noted. Yeah.
but February 2nd Committee of the Whole, I did not see the minutes. So
Can we, did anybody else see them? They weren't online. Okay. So I'm gonna need a motion to amend this, or I need an amendment to the motion to remove the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes as they have not been circulated. So I have Councillor Maybe and seconder Kelman. Remove February 2nd meeting minutes. So I'll call the question on the amendment to remove the February 2nd meeting minutes. All in favor? All opposed? And it is carried. So the amended motion is that the January 6, 2026 council meeting minutes and the December 16th, 25 Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes be received and filed. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Staff reports. Motion is coming from Councillor Maybe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody, that the council approve the staff report as recommended at the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting. And it's the 12.1 2026 amendments to general rates and fees bylaw. So the motion is on the floor up for discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Antoine Hartley. Is your microphone on?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to put forth an amendment to the bylaw that staff bring forth a report for March on information for a free use policy for volunteers using township facilities.
So it's an amendment to the motion, but the amendment is to approve the staff report. So are you looking, this sounded like more like a deferral. That's what I'm struggling with.
Through you, Your Worship. If council wishes, we can amend the resolution. Yeah. We can go forward with, because that would be dependent on if you wanted to pass the rates and fees bylaw and bring a separate motion for staff to bring back a report for a separate policy.
For a policy, not the rates and fees. So you're looking for a policy.
Policy.
So it,
Correct.
we would be approving the staff report just the same, but there would be a subsequent policy coming to the March to speak to.
Yes, which would be particular to
Okay.
volunteers.
So before we get too much further, I just needed to be clear before I put the amendment on the floor. So the motion currently reads that council approves staff report as recommended the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole with, and the amendment put forward by Councillor Antoine Hartley is that staff bring a report forward regarding public or not public use.
For a free use policy for volunteers using township facilities. Mhm.
March regarding, yeah, go ahead.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm just wondering if it would be possible to say April to allow for a more fulsome review on staff's part, just because the timeline for getting reports done and bringing a policy back for March is a
Are you
little.
okay with April?
I would be okay with April, but given that all planning for the summer is coming up,
As long as the
that would
decision
be
is made for April?
for April.
Okay. Okay, so the amendment is that staff bring a report forward regarding, I don't want to call it a public use problem.
Free use policy.
Free use policy. Okay. April Committee of the Whole. Okay, so the amendment is brought forward by Councillor Antoine Hartley that staff bring a report in April regarding free use policy. I need a seconder for the amendment. Okay. Okay. So the amendment that we're voting on is that staff to bring a report in April Committee of the Whole regarding free facility use policy. Go ahead, Councillor Fody, or Deputy Mayor Fody.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. Can the staff consider whether or not these groups that are going to be bundled in this amendment vote be part of peer? That should be a discussion, whether they need to be part of peer in order to be exempt from cost.
Okay. Okay, and that's direction or to bring part of the report should this amendment pass. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? And it is carried. So the amended motion reads that council approve the staff report as recommended at the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting, and that staff bring a report in April at the Committee of the Whole regarding a free facility use policy. Any further discussion on the rates and fees bylaw? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we are carried. Thank you, folks. I have to relinquish the chair again as this is an action required item.
I gather with in hand, you're going to go ahead and read those?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, through you, Deputy Mayor. So the first resolution is for 469 Lower Oak Leaf Road. Moved by, we'll get a different mover because that's Deputy Mayor Fody. You seconded it. Moved by Councillor Antoine Hartley, seconded by Councillor Maybe. Whereas a consultation process has occurred regarding proposed communication facilities towers at 469 Lower Oakleaf Road and 1802 Outlet Road for Kingston Online Services, the agent, and whereas telecommunication facilities are regulated by Innovative Science and Economic Development Canada, formerly Industry Canada, under the Radio Communication Act, which requires proponents to consult with local land use authorities and follow local protocol concerning location of such facilities, and whereas the township has a consultation protocol described in Telecommunication Tower and Related Facilities Protocol, the protocol, which includes the council providing comment on the proposed tower. Therefore, council directs staff to submit a letter of concurrence to the agent regarding the tower at 1802 Outlet Road, indicating that the agent has complied with the protocol, and further that the letter shall also indicate that in the event that the tower is no longer required, Kingston Online Services shall remove the tower from the property.
Any questions from council?
Yes, just a point there. We started at 469, then you went to 1802, and I didn't think you had read it all down.
No, it's all 1802 for this one. The next one is 469.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I just want to make sure because I was going.
Thank you.
okay.
Any other questions from council? If not, we'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? There's nobody left. Carried.
And then moving on to 469. So all of the whereases are the same. And then therefore, council directs staff to submit a letter of concurrence to the agent regarding the tower at 469 Lower Oak Leaf Road, indicating that the agent has complied with the protocol. And further, the letter shall also indicate that in the event that the tower is no longer required, Kingston Online Services shall remove the tower from the property.
Same. Any questions from council? If not, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, we are moving forward with 13.2 comprehensive report, official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment. Moved by Councillor Maybe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody, that the council adopt the official plan amendment township file number D09-2023-002 attached to planning and development report number 2026-006 at Exhibit F to amend the land use designation of the subject property from rural to tourist commercial on Schedule A1 of the township's official plan, and that the amendment is forwarded to the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville for approval, that the council approve the application for zoning bylaw amendment township file number D14-2023-008 per amending bylaw, and Schedule A attached to planning and development report number 2026-006 as Exhibit G to change the zoning of the subject property from rural RU zone to tourist commercial special exception 28 CT-28-H with a holding zone in the township zoning bylaw number 07-079. Discussion on the motion. I have no hands up, so I will call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Next item is coming from Deputy Mayor Fody, and seconded by Councillor Maybe, that council directs staff to advertise for a new committee of adjustment member. Discussion on the motion. Okay. I will just say that it is with great sadness that we have to replace this member. We have not said much about this as a municipality, but Catherine Graham was a very dedicated member of many committees over the years here in Leeds and the Thousand Islands, but more so, she took her role as a committee of adjustment member very seriously. And she was a great addition to that committee, and we will miss her and her spirit very dearly. So I will call a question. Oh, you wanted to say something? Okay, go ahead, Deputy Mayor Fody.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. I know it doesn't pertain to this, but we need to keep in mind while replacing Catherine here, excuse me, she'll be needed to replace on the Police Services Board too.
That is not our role. She was a public member.
Right.
So the OPP board will make their, the province will have to advertise. So that's not
I
us.
thought we had originally asked for that from here.
They were asked for an endorsement, I think, from us,
Okay.
but that was all.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? It is carried. 13.4 Municipal Ice Storm Assistance Grant Authority to execute transfer payment agreement. Moved by Deputy Mayor Fody, seconded by Councillor Maybe. The council receive report operations and infrastructure 2026-005-2025 Municipal Ice Storm Assistance Grant, and that the council authorize the treasurer to sign all relevant documents and agreements to facilitate receiving the funding in relation to the Municipal Ice Storm Assistance Grant. Discussion on the motion. I think it's fairly self-explanatory in the report that we're receiving these funds, and we only have to execute the agreement, which is why a motion is needed here at council. Okay, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. 13.5 Pothole Prevention Grant Program Grant Authority to execute transfer payment. Just wanting to make sure. No, it's 13 points. I've got UI4 13.5.
Yeah, just nobody signed it. That's the municipal ice storm.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I just
active.
did this, yes. So that one's supposed to be, right, but that's not, I need that. So the motion is pothole prevention. So the council, that the council receive report operations infrastructure 2026-006 2025 Municipal Ice Storm Assistance Grant, and the council authorize the treasurer to sign all relevant documents and agreements to facilitate receiving the funding in relation to the pothole prevention program.
I have no idea what happened.
Me neither. Because the one we just did was, it ended with Municipal Ice Storm Assistance Grant. So it seems like there's a duplication. Yeah, so this one is, so we just don't have the sheet for this one, that's all. So this one is in regards to the pothole prevention program. No. Because this one was what was there.
It was just copied, so we'll just have to.
So
Yeah, so we'll just X out ice storm assistance program and put pothole prevention program, and it's operations and infrastructure 2026-06.
yep.
Okay.
Okay, I need a mover and a seconder for this motion, please. So I have Councillor Maybe, Deputy Mayor Fody. Okay, the council receive report operations and infrastructure 2026-006 pothole prevention program, and the council authorize the treasurer to sign all relevant documents and agreements to facilitate receiving the funding in relation to the pothole prevention program. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we're carried. Okay, is anybody in need of a comfort break, or you still want me to keep going on this? We've been at it since 5:30. I just wanted to check. Speak now, forever hold your peace. I'm gonna keep rolling. Okay. Moving on to the Husef Grant Transfer Payment Agreement for Jerry Park Area Water Reservoir Construction and Water Main Upgrade. Moved by Councillor Maybe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody, that council gives first and second reading to bylaw number 2026-008, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a transfer payment and funding agreement between His Majesty the King, Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Infrastructure, and the Corporation of the Township of Lees and the Thousand Islands for the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund Intake 2 Top Up. Motions on the floor. Discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. In the brief, it did talk about possible money coming from the federal government. Is there any indication of what that might be or how we're going to get there?
Director Holliday, you're online. Can you answer that?
I am online. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So all that I know, can you guys hear me?
Internet's a
certainly
little dicey
can.
tonight.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All we know at this point is what we've received from the MPP, that our file has been transferred over to the updated funding, the BCSF, Building Community Strong Fund, for consideration. So we don't know any details of it yet. It hasn't been released, but apparently that's the plan right now at that point with the federal government.
Okay. And I know we see some numbers from the original, what we got from the province, and some of the changes and updates of costing, and that are, if we take it into debt, it changes how much we're paying out per month or
Per
year,
annum.
sorry. I meant to say year.
I was just going to say, if that went
I had
up
it
by
in my
month,
mind.
it might be a bit of a different story.
Yeah. So we have had some increases in the costs in that. I think in the brief even said about possibly from tariffs, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Yep. And the timing of the project, and again, we're still looking for more funding to come in, or are we going to go into debt to make it happen?
Mr. Holliday?
I believe in the financial plan that it was considered for debt for the remaining portion beyond the provincial government. That is the worst case scenario. Subject to getting some federal funding and offsetting those costs. Anything above the provincial government at this point would be the responsibility of the municipality to cover.
So we're still looking for other grant money. So we're putting it on hold already at the moment then?
No.
No, we are.
No,
going
this
to-
is
No.
approval to move forward, correct, Director Holliday?
Through your worship, yes. The intent was to have this project completed in 2027. Now, talking with the consultants at this point, it looks like it might push a little bit to the fall of 2027. But yeah, the intent is to have this project tender ready by Q2 and awarded for the estimated completion of next fall.
Okay. So does that keep it out of the Lansdowne Fair time? Any construction?
Director Holliday?
Through your worship, for 2026, that will keep it out of the Lansdowne Fair time. If we push further into the fall, then obviously that will have an impact in 2027.
Okay.
So we will work together
See
with
how-
the organization. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions in regards to this report? I have no hands up, so I will call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Thank you very much. Very excited to see this project move forward. Moving on to 13.7, 2025 Fire Protection Grant, Cancer Prevention Initiative, moved by Deputy Mayor Fody, seconded by Councillor Maybe, that council receive report Fire Services 2026-004-2025 Fire Protection Grant, Cancer Prevention Initiative, that council authorize the treasurer to sign all relevant documents and agreements to facilitate receiving the funding in relation to the fire protection grant. Discussion on the motion. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Worship. Through you, question, page 2 of that report, paragraph 2. It mentions the 64,840. Any chance that should be 68,840? As if you take the 17,210 times 4, that's what you would get.
We'll look to the treasurer with the math. Not that
His mathing's checking out.
his mathing is checking out. So the fire chief, I don't want to put too much stress here.
17 times 4 is going to be.
So the number is incorrect in the report, the whole number.
It should be a 68 instead of a 64.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Now the correction's been made? And the clerk will also make said correction in the minutes? Any further comments in regards to that? Good catch, Deputy Mayor. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Sorry.
The through you, Mayor, just to confirm that the grant is for 64,840, so maybe the 17 is the wrong number.
Oh,
I just Googled, or not Googled, I went in my email, and per the agreement, it's for a grant of $64,840.
So the grant amount is correct.
That's what we are receiving, yes.
Okay,
Just
so
we're
this,
clear.
go ahead, Chief.
Through your worship, sorry, on the 17.2, that was advised what fire departments could get per station if they applied for that much. I had applied for 64,840 because that's what we had kind of come up with on a price. But I could have actually got a little bit more, it would seem.
If you asked for more. Ask for the maximum at all times.
Well, I thought we had the maximum, but
So,
it turned out.
okay, so before I say that it's carried, because I haven't said it's carried yet, the grant amount is for the 64,000. Correct. And so we don't need to correct that in the minutes, Madam Clerk. Okay, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? It is carried. Next item, 13.8 Firehouse Subs Grant, moved by Councillor Maybe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody. The council received report Fire Services 2026-005 Firehouse Subs Grant, and the council authorized the treasurer to sign all relevant documents and agreements to facilitate receiving the funding in relation to the Firehouse Subs Grant. Discussion on the motion. Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you, it's good to see that a local sub shop like this is coming in with all the help that they have done for many fire departments. And as I had witnessed in the last 2 weekends, the training going on down in not too far from where I live, it's great. I almost came down to jump in a suit, but I didn't get there. Anyways, it's nice and cold, but great to see that we're going to have the 10 full new suits. And as I hear, the old suits will be for training. These 10 full suits will be for active duty only. So it's great to hear.
Any further comments or questions in regards to the Firehouse Subs Grant? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we are carried. 13.9 RFP OPS 2026-003 Supply and Install Playground Safety Surface. Moved by Deputy Mayor Fody, seconded by Councillor Maybe, that council approve the award of a contract to Park and Water Limited for RPS-OPS-2026-003 Supply and Install Playground Safety Surface for the new Jerry Park play structures in the amount of $167,173.21 inclusive of net HST. Discussion on the motion. Go ahead, Councillor Kelman, and then Councillor Maybe.
Your worship, and through you, we talked about this during our budget discussions. It's coming from the Recreation Working Group. I just want to say I'm really pleased to see this amount come in because it is significantly less than what we estimated the cost would be. It's still a lot of money, but the new structure is an accessible structure, which doesn't serve its purpose if there's not an accessible surface underneath it. So that's why we're going in this direction. And it's something we'll be looking at, perhaps not for all of our play structures in all of our parks, but certainly for some others as well. So I was pleased to see the amount for this tender.
Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. So to Director Holiday, how many square feet of ground are we covering, and what is the duration of the material potential?
So life cycle? Okay. Go ahead, Director Holiday.
So I think Jonathan's actually going to answer the questions for this one.
Not a problem. Mr. Cross, you're online. There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
We can. Please go ahead.
Okay. I unfortunately don't have my square footage in front of me. I want to say it was 290 square meters, roughly. It was based on square footage and square meters in the RFP as listed. And the warranties on workmanship are a 2-year and a limited 10-year, and the lifespan is expected to be 25 years relative to the installation.
Okay, that answers questions. So I have Deputy Mayor Fody, and then I have Councillor Antoine Hartley.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to a Director of Operations. Is this material the same as we had discussed prior? It's a chopped foam?
So I have Jonathan online to answer that. Go ahead.
Jonathan, sure.
Yes, so through you. It is a recycled shredded rubber, and it'll be applied with a mixture of resin, so it still stays elastic. There's a base layer that goes in, and then there's a top layer that is more of the aesthetic and watertight layer. It will be a two-toned color to be determined once this is awarded, if it's awarded. the design will basically encompass one color around the fixtures, kind of as a warning zone, don't get too close sort of thing, and the rest will be a different color as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Antoine Hartley.
That was my question.
Okay. Questions asked and answered. Any others? Call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Very excited to see what that looks like, and how that might facilitate some of our residents who are in need of a different play structure, and they can enjoy the outdoors too. The next motion is moved by Councillor Maybe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Fody, that council authorize the award of the tender OPS-2026-002 for the supply and application of surface treatment to Miller Paving Limited in the amount of $424,999.35 plus the net HST. Discussion on the motion? Okay, no hands up. Well, this one's pretty self-explanatory. It's surface treatment, so that's on all of our surface treated roads that are being upgraded or preserved, I should say. I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Next item, 13.11 RFT OPS-2025-020. Motions coming forward from Councillor Leclerc, seconded by Councillor Kelman, that council approve the award of tender OPS-2025-020, provide janitorial services to municipal facilities to Corporate Mirror Inc., Cleaning Masters Canada, in the amount of $97,888.03, inclusive of net HST for a 3-year term. Discussion on the motion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. Is this the same company that we're presently using?
Okay, I'll ask Mr. Cross to answer that.
No, this will be a new company that will be providing service.
Okay.
Okay. I had Deputy Mayor Fody's hand up, I believe.
Thank you, Worship. Through you. Jonathan, I didn't know if there's something you want to answer or not. Why would this one bid be that far out of whack compared to the rest at 122 million?
122 million seems a little bit rich.
The non-successful bid, each proponent was provided a chart, and they would it was broken down per site, per how many per visit, and how many times per year, and they filled in their data, and that is the amount per visit they were looking to obtain over a 3-year term.
Well, thank you.
The math did not math. Any further comments or questions in regards to this motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Okay, 13.12, purchase of a 2025 Freightliner single axle pumper tanker, moved by Councillor Kelman, seconded by Councillor Maybe, that the council authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of a 2025 Freightliner single axle pumper tanker from the Commercial Emergency Equipment Company in the amount of $737,431.56 plus net HST. Discussion on the motion. We've been doing this now for a while, so I'll turn to Deputy Mayor Fody.
Thank you, Worship. Through you. And to follow up as your comment, we've been doing this for a while. We have been, and it's adding up to a lot of money in a few years. Should we be looking at what we need down the road and then planning down the road to maybe pick up the odd used truck just to break this cycle? Because of all these same vehicles we bought the last 5-6 years are on a 25-year cycle, it's going to come back to haunt a council in 25 years. And this is an astronomical amount of money. I have no problem supporting it because I know in the end, it's going to every taxpayer in the township should they dial that number. But this cumulative purchasing of high-dollar equipment is in a very tight time frame because it wasn't spread out previous to us, but us are here and we could deal with this. Thank you.
Chief?
Through your worship, unfortunately, the previous to me, there wasn't a whole lot of purchasing done. The nice thing with this tanker and the tankers that we bought, it buys us an extra 5 years because those trucks turn into where they're qualified to be a tanker for an extra 5 years. The frontline pumps are only 20. So what we're trying to do is break that up a little bit as much as we can. The truck is actually replacing a truck from 1997. So it's actually 3 years out of date. It shouldn't even be being used. So I'm trying to break them up as much as we can, but there's some of them. I've got 3 that are coming up that were all bought in 2006, 2007. And at the time they were bought, there were $1 million for all 3 of them. Now they work out to almost $1 million each. So we're trying to break those up and spread them out as much as we can.
This is
We
part
can-
of
we
our
can-
asset
it's,
management
it's all
plan.
part of the asset management plan. We can also go back and look at used trucks, but you're still, I've been all over the used truck end, and you're still looking at $400,000 and $500,000 for a truck that's 10 years old or 8 years old. So you're buying a little bit of time, but you're not really breaking it up a whole
And
lot.
I'm just trying to, sorry to jump in, but I'm trying to think of a scenario where a municipality would get rid of it after 10 years when they have, like, I'm trying to think about why people are getting rid of them, because what I don't want to see is to take on someone else's problem if they're lemons. And I'm not saying that they are, but if they're selling them at 10 years, why would a municipality sell one of these at 10 years?
The only reason I can see is one, that they are maybe not as quality as they could be. The second one would be to break that up, like Deputy Mayor.
Oh, to
Foley,
break up
to
a
try to
new-
break up that cycle of trucks.
So in the inverse, we could trade one of our medium age trucks at 10 years to upgrade to a newer truck.
We
Essentially, that's what you're saying?
most certainly could, and like I'll work with finance to see how we can kind of break some of that up, because I do appreciate the fact that these trucks are coming every year for sure.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you to the fire chief. Then I'll challenge the fire chief to take it to the Leeds and Grenville chiefs and create an equipment pool. There could be somebody else in a similar situation that want to trade us. And if they're not far away, surely we can get the scoop on the validity of the piece of equipment. I know in my equipment purchases over the years of large trucks, it was very iffy, to your point, Your Worship, to buy a truck unknown, because you are inheriting whatever comes with it and you're paying dearly for it. But maybe we should be reaching out to Leeds and Grenville chiefs, through the chiefs, I should say. This is your department, and just see if there's any appetite out there for a swap plus money, or a swap less than money, or that type of thing. Just for future, not for current.
I know, through your worship, I know most fire departments around Leeds Grenville are all in exactly the same boat as we are, where they haven't purchased. We've had departments close to us that have ran their trucks way past years, and then they ended up being pulled off the road. So we also run into a bit of an issue where we've got 4 stations. So we've got pumpers and tankers. So we've got a large fleet where we're, between us and Rideau Lakes, we've got the 2 biggest fleets in the county. So it's a little more challenging than that, but there's definitely appetite. We're working through with the chiefs groups to try to do some combined buying power for lots of the other equipment as well. So, I mean, it's certainly something to look at.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm thinking, as I stated, just down the road, 25 years won't affect me at all, but someday it's going to affect somebody.
Excuse me. Further questions in regards to the motion that's on the floor? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? It is carried. 13.13, purchase of 2025 Max Metal F550 Mini Rescue, moved by Councillor Leclerc, seconded by Councillor Kelman. The Committee of the Whole recommends that Council authorize staff to proceed with the purchase of 2025 Max Metal F550 Mini Rescue from Commercial Emergency Equipment Company in the amount of $329,900 plus an HST. Motions on the floor. I just also, regarding the previous motion as well, these items were identified in our budgeting process. These are not a surprise to us, but nonetheless, provide us with an opportunity to make comment or make suggestions. So go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to the chief. This is kind of a new kind of avenue for this particular type of vehicle. Can you describe it a little bit more than we've already had?
Yes, through your worship. So the truck that we're replacing is a 2003 light top kick GM truck. It's a light rescue, so it's got room in the cab for two and room in the back for two seated and belted in. We have two of those rescues within the township now. What those were basically built for, one in the south and one in the north, was for auto X calls and kind of heavier equipment. But what we've looked at doing, we need to be able to transfer personnel. The light rescues are nice, but they don't carry a pump, so it's kind of an extra truck that doesn't really fit the mold to what we're trying to do now. So the new style is a 5-man cab. It's basically on a Ford F550 frame, and it's got a walk-around box, so we can carry all the same equipment in it, but it's smaller. It'll fit in the fire hall better. It can pull boats. It can do all of the things. It actually will replace the pickup truck out of Station 4. So we're trying to adjust what we have in the assets and trying to make the next purchases to Deputy Mayor Fode's point, to working down the road to make sure that we're getting the best vehicles we can get in that situation. So we don't need two larger rescues to walk into, so we can have a smaller vehicle to do the same job more efficiently. Thank you.
Further questions in regards to the motion that's on the floor? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we're carried. 13.14, joint agreement with Front of Young for slurry seal of Escott Young Town Line Road, moved by Councillor Leclerc, seconded by Councillor Kelman. The council authorized the mayor and clerk to sign an agreement with the Township of Front of Young for the joint slurry seal application on Escott Young Town Line Road. Discussion? Again, pretty self-explanatory. I'd like to thank the director for looking for opportunities. I'm not sure if we went looking or they came to us, but I think more of this type of joint ventures between neighboring municipalities. I know that we have a pretty good relationship, but I know that even at the county level, we're looking for more of this kind of collaboration to reduce the overall costs so we can work together. So I will call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. 13.15, tiered response agreement update, Leeds Grenville EMS, moved by Councillor Kelman, seconded by Councillor Leclerc, that council receive fire services report 2026-006 and approve the updated agreement with the Corporation of the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville, represented by Leeds and Grenville Emergency Medical Services EMS Division. The council approve bylaw 2026-007, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with the Corporation of the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville EMS, and that council repeal bylaw 13.018, any older related versions to be replaced with current changes. Motions on the floor. Discussion? This is a pretty important agreement, just so you are all aware, and I would like to make a comment on it before I call the question. So this is an agreement, and I'm assuming because it's saying bylaw 13-018, this is going back as far as 2013. Okay. So this has not been updated for a long time. This is a choice that we make here in the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands. It is a choice that all municipalities make. I think it's an important choice to be made because as you can see, they're asking us whether we want to continue on responding based on how the report is laid out. We don't have an obligation to do this. But what I will say is that in the event that one of our paramedic buses are otherwise detained, weather related, slower to get to the scene, are held up for whatever reason, the whole purpose of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, is that we can hopefully have somebody on scene sooner in the event of any emergency. I realize that our firefighters are not paramedics. They do not replace paramedics. However, trained in CPR, have some tools on the trucks that they can be helpful and help stabilize the scene, I think is an important service to provide. So just wanted to put that out there. So I will call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. Thank you to members of council. I think it's a service that our residents deserve. Moving forward with 13.16, moved by Deputy Mayor Fody, seconded by Councillor Kelman. Whereas the Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System, OMERS, pension fund serves over 1,000 employers and over 500,000 employees and retirees from diverse groups, including municipal governments, school boards, libraries, police and fire departments, children's aid societies, and electricity distribution companies. And whereas the long-standing jointly sponsored governance model with 2 corporate boards has provided stability, accountability, and fairness for both plan members and employers for more than 2 decades. And whereas the Government of Ontario has passed legislative changes to OMERS governance structure through Bill 68, and whereas these changes would replace the current OMERS sponsors corporation with a new sponsors council that would lose its corporate status and independent resources, and whereas the proposed model could allow pension decisions affecting municipal employers and employees to be made without meaningful municipal oversight, increasing financial risk for municipalities and local taxpayers. And whereas municipalities are already under significant financial strain and cannot absorb additional pension costs without consequences for property taxes or local services, therefore, be it resolved that the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands does not support the legislative changes to the OMERS Act contained in Bill 68 and requests that the Government of Ontario reconsider the advisability of proceeding with these changes. Further, be it resolved that the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands Council supports the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, in calling on the Government of Ontario to maintain the current OMERS governance model with 2 corporate boards as the structure that would best deliver on the long-term interests of municipalities, taxpayers, and employees. Be it further resolved that the resolution be circulated to the Honourable Rob Flack, Minister of Housing and Municipal Affairs, Honourable Peter Bethenfalvy, Minister of Finance, the Honourable Steve Clark, MPP for Leeds and Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. And Clark does not have an E on the end of it. Just sorry, there's a typo. I'm like, that looks weird. Deputy Mayor Fody, please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, to give credit where credit's due, before I even attempted to draft up a letter, our good clerk provided me with a copy of what AMO was giving to other jurisdictions to just kind of stamp and approve. That's where this came from. This is the same letter that many jurisdictions have supported for the same reason.
Further discussion or comment on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it is carried. And I hope that anybody who might read our council packages take a look at that and why we are putting our support behind this particular motion and the support behind AMO to further press upon the government that the system is not broken. Please do not fix it. Sorry, that might be my own opinion. Anyways, next motion is coming from Councillor Maybe, seconded by Councillor Leclerc. The council directs staff to prepare a letter to send to other municipal councils seeking their support to request the province Ministry of Transportation review the compensation program regarding fire service response to calls on MTO-controlled highways, specifically regarding the need for an increase in funding and support. Additionally, that the province simplifies the process for reporting the incidents and removes some of the barriers currently in place for receiving the funding. Now, Councillor Lackey was supposed to be here this evening. He was the one that wanted to put it on, but unfortunately he is otherwise out of the area. So I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Is there anybody that wants to make a comment or ask a question? Go ahead, Councillor Kelman.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to the chief. We had a delegation at Roma last year along these lines, but very specific. I think it was to do with the number of vehicles that we could receive compensation for that were responding to an incident. Did we ever have any feedback, or was any change has come since January of 2025?
Through Your Worship, that's a good question. There has been a few things have changed in the last year. Now they pay for trucks like my pickup truck to cover at a lower rate than what the larger trucks come at. But they really haven't changed how difficult it is to get the money. They still want quite a number of pieces of information. So what we're hoping with this is that as that time moves on and they start to make some changes where, you know, we have a fire report and we have the police report, that should more than cover that. But they're still asking for insurances and they're still asking for all of these pieces. So what we're looking to do with it is try to get that to be just a little bit more streamlined. Councillor Lackey was looking to see if that amount could be increased as well. Whether or not they do that, it'd just be nice to be paid for the pieces and the
In a
stand
timely
and
fashion.
the stand down calls. Because for instance, today we had a call out on the highway. I got out there and 2 of my trucks made it out on the highway. And as we got out to the highway, the call got stood down. So there's 8 people, 2 trucks or 3 trucks that we paid for that we can't get reimbursed for. So I know it's in process, and I know the Association of Fire Chiefs for Ontario are also pushing it. But it's certainly not a bad thing to see if we can get some more municipalities. Because it's not just 401 for us. It's Highway 15, it's the Parkway, and then every municipality along the 401 corridor also has the 401. So.
Any further comments or questions? Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you. I know last week or a couple of weeks ago, I actually asked the question what the MTO rate is. Can you disclose that?
Oh, through your worship, I believe it's at just under $600 currently per truck per hour.
Per
Per
hour. It's not an insignificant piece, but as we just approved one of those trucks, they're a lot of money. They're a lot of money to run. And keep in mind, it's not just the truck, it's the bodies that are in the truck, as well as any equipment that's on the truck.
As well as any damage that may incur.
God willing, that's not the case. But anyways, further discussion on the motion? I have no hands up, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we're carried. So staff report, sole source selection of artificial intelligence software. This item was provided for information purposes only. Is there any comments or questions in regards to this? Go ahead, Deputy or Councillor Maybe. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And through you, I was just wondering if we could get a rundown of what we're really going to purchase here.
Thank you. Through your worship, we're looking at an agreement that's going to get us cloud access to a software platform named GovAI. We would access that through a web browser. That's going to allow us an awful lot of innovations, AI benefits in a really safeguarded manner, unlike any other platform that's available. It is a unique offering specifically for government agencies. So an awful lot of, I don't want to call them canned, but pre-packaged safeguards that are in place that'll let us hit the ground running very quickly. I would almost call it artificial intelligence on training wheels to get us in a really good position where we're finding those efficiencies.
Go ahead.
Just as a follow-up, so how many other municipalities or governments or Canadian government using it presently, or?
I don't think I could give you an exact number. Certainly, we've looked at other municipalities that are looking at the GovAI platform. I had an opportunity to attend the Municipal Information Systems Association conference in the fall of 2024, and they put on a pretty impressive presentation there.
Okay, go ahead, Deputy Mayor Fody.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. Just an FYI, at Roma conference, one of these such companies had a booth set up. And I came across it just by looking for things. And then Councillor Antoine Hartley joined me not long later. And the explanation to the both of us was the same from these women. I provided that to our our acting CAO last week, the contact information, it appears to be quite a numerical difference in cost between the one we saw and the one you have presented here. But Councillor Maybe's question, the way they simplified it there at that booth, everybody grabs their phone now and Googles for an answer. That's the same process to get through to any question through all our archives in the township. It's that simple. And then the accuracy, sorry,
Thank you, through you. I was just going to state, I gave our manager of IT that information to look into, and you may want to provide some comment.
Okay, maybe we'll go to him. Go ahead.
Thank you. Absolutely. Through your worship. I did actually have a great conversation with Municipal is the name of the organization, a conversation with them this afternoon after the CIO gave me those business cards a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely a great product with some incredible features for our customer service end of our business. But I would compare the offering from Municipal AI that you're speaking to be, for lack of a better expression, a hot dog, when the Gov AI product that I'm proposing would be a hamburger. They are two very different products for two different purposes, where the Gov AI is going to make staff more efficient because it'll help with our creation of content, creation of reports, analysis of data, as opposed to the Municipal AI that goes on the front end of our customer service. So it enhances service for our customers. It does find efficiencies for staff through less phone calls, less emails, but it's more of a customer service facing product for our website.
So this is to dip our toe in and utilize it on the back end before we go and, present everything to the world.
well, we had talked different times here at this horseshoe about updating our websites and so on. This takes care of all of that. That would be and the accuracy is the nice part. Listening to our IT's description here, it appears like the hot dog and the hamburger reverse pricing, but that's up to a corporate business to decide how they price themselves. Thank you for that info.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments or questions in regards to any of the information that was provided in regards to AI? Seeing none, I will move on. There is no motion. This is provided for information purposes only. There's no other information items. We're moving on to announcements or statements from councillors. Go ahead, Councillor Maybe.
Thank you. And through you, Madam Mayor, did go to Frostfest on Friday night. Monique and Angela were there. I didn't actually meet up with them until after they announced my name to bring blessings or greetings from the township. So I did that and had my buddy with me, Oliver. Wanted to see how he did with the fireworks, and he did very well. And we did get a picture of him driving the fire truck too. So, but it was a great event. A lot of people there because the weather was just warm enough, and hot chocolate and hot dogs were flowing well. Well, compared to Saturday, Sunday, yeah, it was very, very nice. Fireworks was a spectacular show again, as always. And
They do a great job.
Oh yeah. And I do know what the cost was. So it's really interesting that they can do that show and do it that well. So hats off to the organizing committee there again for all that they did and, to showcase our communities. Saturday, I guess, is Valentine's Day, right? The 14th. So just to remind that and speak about sweet stuff, the syrup is going to be starting to flow soon. So I will let you know when the open house is. So for any members who want to come out and see that again, we look forward to it. Thank you.
I think you have very wishful thinking. I know it's supposed to warm up next week, but we got a long way to go, bud.
The taps will be in on Saturday, so I can clean up my lines, and then 2-3 weeks we might get some sap running. But it's going to be in March, the open house sometime. Yeah.
Fair enough. Go ahead, Councillor Leclerc.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just another reminder that the Rockport Winter Carnival starts on Wednesday. There's a couple days there where things are happening at the Rockport Rec Hall, followed by weekend events at the barn. It's always super fun, fireworks, food, lots of games and activities for kids. And then a happy family day to everybody that celebrates as well.
Wonderful. Any further announcements or statements from councillors? Oh, go ahead, Councillor Antoine Hartley.
Yes, on the Frost Fest aspect, it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm a little bit tired, but it was great. And hats off to everybody that made that a success. And also thank you to the crews that did a great job of removing the snow from the streets. Prior to that, all the banks disappeared. And then I was in the bay about 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, and we'd had quite a blow the night before, and every street was cleared, ready for the
Nice.
guests to pull in. I was very, very pleased.
We'll make
that
sure
was done.
that Director Holiday passes that along to the men and women that work in Public Works. It is very helpful when they're able to respond nimbly for these types of things. Any further statements or go ahead, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Your Worship, through you. The Alto train, I've been following that pretty close, the VIA's idea of putting a high-speed train from Quebec City to Windsor. I don't believe it's going to interfere with our township, but we should keep a close eye on it for fear that it could. There's a lot of push on to bring it down toward Kingston. Ironically, those in South Frontenac don't want anything to do with it. So I guess if Kingston wants it, they're going to have to literally take it right into the city. The reason I'm following this close, a lot of the information that was not put out in the start is coming through now. They need anywhere from 200 to 300 feet wide to put this track in. There's going to be 12-foot non-movable fences on either side. Any road that encounters this rail has to either go under it or over it. Nobody will be crossing it. So who's paying the expense for all these bridges and underpasses?
To make matters worse, they're dead ending some.
Yes, that's and private properties will be the big loser, because the rail just wash their hands of it. Private properties, namely farmers, this could go through campgrounds as well. I don't know. I hope not. I know there's a lot of fear the more that comes out on this. There's supposed to be a meeting coming up in Perth before long. I haven't seen the date confirmed yet. I intend to be there, but it's getting more thumbs down by the day. I'm not so sure that the zest to move from Quebec City to Windsor is quite what it was a month or two ago. On another note, I'm asking because I followed the Super Bowl last night, and then they dragged it out about 15 or 20 minutes longer than I cared for. I wanted to see that new Borderline TV show. Did anybody here watch it? It's our area.
Oh, it's
it was there.
show that was down at Ivy Lee Park.
Yeah, it was all labeled to show after the Super Bowl, but they kept running the Super Bowl right into it, and after about 20 minutes, I tuned out and
I'm
shut it
sure
off.
that you can go online and watch it.
Yeah.
CTV, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Kudos to our firefighters. Everybody remembers what the temperature was this past weekend. They were out doing water rescue training. So as one of the firefighters said, should we get a call to deal with this, we better not be afraid to train for it. So that's pretty good attitude. I got that at the Gann Arena the other night. And that's all I have today right now. Thanks.
Any further statements or announcements from councillors? Yes. So I have a long list. I'll try to be brief. Obviously, Sealy's Bay Frost Fest. I'm sorry I was unable to make it for the fireworks as I usually do. But what I do know is everything that I saw on social media, the people that volunteered, as well as the folks that braved the cold on Saturday as well. Thank goodness Friday night wasn't quite as cold, because I've been there when it was really, really cold. It's not always pleasant, but it's just such a fun weekend for everybody to get out, and despite the weather, get out, see family and friends. So kudos to everybody who pitched in and made sure that happened. So there was a comedy show, a roast beef dinner, as well as the fireworks and bingo and all the events during the day. So thanks again. Rockport Winter Carnival has already been mentioned. Valentine's Murder Mystery is happening at the Sealy's Bay Legion on February 14th.
We
it's
sold
out.
out. We sold out mid last week.
That's excellent news. So,
Yes. It puts the pressure on, though.
Band of Beans Chili Cook-Off fundraiser to support the Gananoque District Humane Society and Mamas Here Now Neonatal Rescue and Lyndhurst Feral Cat Project is taking place on February 21st. And all of these things will be listed on our socials as well. Learn to Skate 55 Plus beginner and intermediate program in a 5-week program has a few more weeks left. Register through the town of Gananoque. A culture, leisure, recreation, and sports expo is being held Friday, February 20th from 3 to 7, Saturday, the 21st from 9 a.m. till noon. Come out and explore many ways to stay active, engaged, and connected in and around TLTI. Further announcements, the Community Grants Program is accepting applications to provide modest levels of support and assistance to community, not-for-profit, and or charitable organizations. The deadline to apply is April 3rd, 2026. So any of those who are putting on or organized events that are sponsored kids, providing services that are not-for-profits or charitable organizations, please put your name in for our Community Grants Program. Community groups that were recipients of the 25 community grant have until March 31st, 2026 to submit their report. Keep in mind, you cannot apply for a further grant if your report from the previous grant has not been received, correct?
Yes.
Yes. The Youth Bursary Program is accepting applications until March 31st, 2026. And the Community Improvement Plan is accepting applications for the spring intake. The first step in applying is to contact Lindsay in the planning department to discuss your project. Grant closes at the end of May. And the Communications Department is reminding folks that the best way to stay informed with township information is to subscribe to the new e-news feature at the bottom of the main page of the township's website. You can sign up to receive direct emails on facility closures, meeting and program cancellations, news, press releases, public meetings and notices, and roads and infrastructure. It's as easy as clicking the subscribe button. And PEER, Partnership and Economic Enhancement and Revitalization group is met on Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, and will meet again in March. Last announcement is a very sad one. We lost one of our matriarchs here in the village of Lansdowne. Frida White has passed away at 88. Frida, I don't even know where to start with Frida. Her and her family, she is a Warren. Her maiden name is a Warren, so many folks around this area that are related, but Frida has always been a staple in volunteer groups, whether it be LAFR, Lions Club, the Agricultural Society. She was one of the key people that made sure that we had a community building in this village. Her name will live on in infamy on the plaque that does exist there. But one of the main things about Frida is that she's a very hard worker. She worked alongside her husband at Newell's Garage here in Lansdowne before her 2 boys have taken it over. She has 3 boys in total. But all I can say is that Frida was not one to mince words. She'd tell you exactly what she thought, but she'd also be the first one to say, what can I do to help? So we will miss her spirit. We will miss her dedication, but mostly we will miss her. So may she rest in peace. Her arrangements have been identified on Barclay's website. So if you have the ability, I believe they're Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, and the funeral is on Friday. Anything else that I have missed? Okay, there is no closed session. We'll move forward with motion for bylaws, moved by Councillor Clare, second by Councillor Kelman. The third reading and final passage be granted bylaws 2026-005, 2026-007, and 2026-008. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we're carried. Sorry, am I? Sorry, I haven't called the question on this. So I can get an amendment. So we need to amend this to include bylaw 2026-009 and 2026-0010. and 010. That's 2010. Oh, I did. Is that what I said? Sorry. Bylaw 2026-010. Okay, so the amendment is to add 009 and 010. And I have Ms. Leclerc that has put forward that amendment. Seconder for the amendment? Kelman? Okay. I'm going to call the question on adding the two bylaws. All those in favor? All those opposed? And it's carried. Okay, so the amended motion will read that third reading and final passage be granted to bylaws 2026-005, 2026-007, 2026-008, 2026-009, and 2026, -010. All those in favor? All those opposed? We're carried. Next motion is moved by Councillor Leclerc, seconded by Councillor Kelman, that three readings and final passage, excuse me, and final passage be granted to bylaw 2026-011, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Corporation of the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands at its February 9th, 2026 council meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we're carried. Last motion, moved by Councillor Kelman, seconded by Councillor Leclerc, that council adjourn at 8:06 p.m. Discussion? Call the question. All those in favor? All those opposed? And we are carried and we are adjourned. Thank you, folks. Enjoy the rest of